been that pretty. Everything cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where the girls at, bro. Let me know.
And it's crazy to say that that was really my life. I spent so many days like this, laying around, scrolling, stuck in a loop. I thought I was resting, but I was really running away from my calling, drowning in distractions. I had everything except God. Outside, I was smiling, but really I was just trying to block out the silence. I chased fast money and a fake status, but in reality, it was just pulling me away from my purpose. I built the image I didn't even believe in until God pulled me into isolation. And that's when things changed. I got saved by Christ. And I know you can too. But wait real quick. The first step to growth is acknowledging your distractions. Let's get into it. Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dev Undercover, come back with another video. And as you guys could tell by the title, we're going to be talking about growth. And the video that you guys saw before this, yes, that was real life. It sucks, but it was real life. And I realized that it was getting me away from my purpose with God. It was getting me away from where I needed to be and where God wanted me to be. So that's when things changed, and then he woke me up. So I want to start off this video with Proverbs 10 verse 4. I'm sorry guys, I don't really know it from the top of my head, so just bear with me, but I'll put it up on the screen. And honestly, I just want to start off with social media. So basically, for the first one, which was very crucial to me, was I spent a lot of my idle time on social media. And basically, for people that don't understand, I was basically just spending my free time on social media. And my phone, like the amount of time that I spent on my phone a day was about 8 hours to 12 hours on average. And that is terrible. And I know you guys know that is terrible, because imagine if there's 24 hours in a day and we're asleep for 8 of them, that means there's 16 hours. And if I spent 8 to 12 hours on my phone, that only leaves me with about 4 to 8 hours to myself. Even though, yes, that is quote unquote enough time, to spend 8 to 12 hours on your phone is insane. So basically what I'll do during that time was I'll just basically scroll on social media. I would basically compare myself to others, and I was basically just replacing discipline with dopamine. I was looking for the next video to laugh at. I was looking for attention. I was looking for just things that just didn't benefit myself. So when I was spending my time on my phone, I spent basically 4 years of my time from when I graduated high school to now that I'm 22, just looking through videos, trying to look for the next best video, trying to just being on social media, distracting myself when I could have been putting myself in better shoes and in a better position. And that's when I found God. But I want to talk about the growth at the end of the video rather than right now. And that's the distractions that I started to see with my idle time. I was spending a lot of it on social media, but there was a lot of things I also used to spend it on. And I want to tell you guys next what I used to spend it on. So then it got to a point where, okay, if I'm not going to use my time on my phone, then I'm going to spend my time with my friends, basically just being outside, being on the streets, just having fun. And nothing's wrong with having fun, but when you use it every day, or you try to use your free time on fun rather than growing yourself, then it gets to a point where it just gets old and you start to realize that you're far behind. That's where I was at life. I was basically surrounding myself around people to feel loved. With those people, it's just like my friends, just regular people. And nothing's wrong about feeling loved, but there gets to a certain point where you have to use your own time to build for yourself. Whether that's going to school, whether that's going into a business, side hustles, getting a job, or just doing something that benefits yourself to get yourself to the next point in your life. And for me, I wanted to always, I'm not going to share my exact goals, but I'm going to share just some of them. And my goals is to be a father, to be a husband, to have a good career. But with the life I was living, I wasn't going to get there. No way possible. I can't get there if I'm outside all day. I can't get there if I'm not healing. I can't get there without any attributes or any distractions that I was doing in life. So that's when I learned I had to change, because I had no purpose when I was outside, when I was on the streets, when I was having fun. I had no purpose. I was basically just outside having fun, trying to crack a joke, trying to laugh, trying to do something that just was fun rather than benefiting myself and growing from my future. And it's okay if you're doing the same thing at the same time, but I wasn't. I was just having fun and no future. That's when I had to really sit down inside the house for a few months, actually, and really just figure out, like, okay, how can I detox this out of my system? How can I get the streets? How can I get the fun out of my system? So I sat in silence for about 3 months, and I basically was just telling myself, okay, I need to do this. I need to plan this. How am I going to get closer to God? And that's when I started to read my Bible. With reading my Bible every day, it basically just gave me more clarity. It gave me more peace. I was just like, okay, this is how life is supposed to be. And if you follow those laws that God gave us, then you'll get there. You're going to get to that point of peace. You're going to get to that point of clarity. I'm nowhere where I want to be, but I'm more at peace, and I'm striving for those goals. I'm striving for that next position. I'm striving to go to school and to get to those places that I need to be, to build myself, to heal myself. I'm praying to God every day. Like, a lot of things have changed within those 3 months when I went silent. And honestly, I want to talk about another distraction that was crucial to me, like one of the biggest ones. And I feel like a lot of people want to talk about this, but guess what, guys? I'm very open, and I want you guys to better yourself and at least learn from me if you guys don't have anybody to learn from. And this next distraction, because this distraction honestly broke me, and it was a big distraction I needed to work on. And I feel like if you guys are struggling with this is something you guys definitely need to work on. Not maybe, not most likely, but definitely have to work on. And for me, it was lust. And I know for you guys, if you guys are struggling with it, that's a big distraction. Regardless if you're a woman, a man, lust is the biggest distraction, because you guys shouldn't be chasing attention or just chasing sexual attention. Like, that's nasty. And I know I wasn't saying that at first, but now I'm saying it. And I kind of want to just give you guys just a way to look at it, okay? So let's just say we're the pitcher, okay? So you are a pitcher. A pitcher meaning like a glass pitcher, like filled with water. And now you have to fill a cup. So when you fill a cup with the pitcher, your pitcher is gonna start to slow down and start to decrease, because you're pouring water into another cup. So I pour into the first cup because I want to build with this person. I want to see what this person's about. So I pour my pitcher into a cup. So now that I pour water into that cup is full. But then once things don't go the way it's supposed to, that person drops their cup and it shatters, and now my water basically went nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So then now I see another cup, which is another person, and now I pour into that cup. And since I pour my pitcher into that cup, now my pitcher is now halfway. So now that means I'm halfway, like me, my body, my soul, and my energy is halfway. And I pour into that person's cup, and that connection is good for a little bit until that person drops their cup. And then now that water went nowhere. They didn't drink it. They didn't do anything. They just dropped it. And then now all that energy that I spent on those two cups, which are two people, just basically went away. So I pour my cup into the last person. And this is the big cup, because I'm just like, oh, this person is the person I want. Like, I want this person. So instead of just pouring into the small cups, I poured into the big cup, because I think this is a big investment. So since I poured into that cup, now my pitcher's empty and that person's cup is full. So now I'm empty and I'm running on fumes. I'm running on E. And this person is just like, okay, well, this person's boring, so let me drop my cup. That person dropped their cup. And now that left us with emptiness. So now your pitcher's empty. You just have a little lick of water in there. And that is emptiness. And that's where I was when I took my 3-month break to really find out who I was. And when I started to pick up my Bible, it started to make sense, because they say that exact thing. If you entertain these things, I'll put the Bible verse. I don't know it from the top of my head, but I'll put the Bible verse up on the video right there. But that was the biggest thing. That's something that I didn't realize, and I was entertaining it. And so during my 3 months, I was basically just building myself, and I saw that verse, and I was just like, wow, this stuck with me. And that's when I started to build with that. If we really look back at it, what do you get into pouring into another person, indulging in certain activities, or even just creating false intimacy for a real connection? It gets you nowhere, because as you guys know, if you guys are stuck in those shoes, you guys know that you guys are going from one person to another person to another person, and you're basically pouring your energy into one person to another person to another person, and it's a constant cycle. You go to that person, you leave that person, and then you come back to another person, and then you just constantly remake that cycle, and it's unhealthy. So that's why you have to learn to build discipline for yourself. But you want love, not lust. Lust is a sin. Sex before marriage is a sin. Having a lustful eye is still a sin. So I started to see that, and I was like, okay, I don't want to live my life in sin. I want to live pure. And I did the damage already. So when I knew I was ready, I got baptized, and I was just like, I want to lead with love and not lust. So that's when I got baptized, and I just felt better than ever. I'm not perfect at all, but now that I cleared those distractions out of my life, I'm seeing better. I am thinking better. My space is better. I'm creating goals. I'm building my body that God gave me and blessed me with. I'm doing a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to do when I had distractions. And that's where I want you guys to come with me. But you guys have to remove the distractions first before you can come to this side. And if you guys just write about it, pray about it, and then do the action, you guys will get there. But you guys have to build with God, not without him, because God is the person who will give you the strength. If you guys did enjoy this video, I want you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and just comment either your distractions, how you overcame it. And on the next video, I want to talk about growth, because I want to tell you guys how I grew from these situations when I silenced myself and started to build for myself. I'm not in the best position whatsoever, but I'm in a position to say I'm officially growing as a better person and growing as a person that is following Christ. So if you guys did like this video, like, comment, subscribe, because distractions will always